as a professional wrestling fan, man, um, someone that just seemed damn near like ageless as shit as far as like um in the world as a professional wrestling fan that Mean Gene Okerlund has passed away, and um it's a sad day because it's like that dude just the first time I ever watched wrestling, it was I ain't gonna say my age, but you can figure it out. I was 5 years old. Do the math and shit. I was 5 years old, just turned five. 3 months before that, it was November, I think 5th or whatever, 1989. First time I ever watched professional wrestling was an interview. It wasn't even a match. It was an interview. It was between the Ultimate Warrior, Jim and Anvil Neidhart, and the Rockers, the future HBK and shit, Shawn Michaels, with Marty Jannetty. I, the Warrior became my favorite wrestler ever after that. But the main thing about that is Gene Okerlund was the first man that I really was just right there. And he just had that, you know what I'm saying? I always thought his name was just funny because they say Mean Gene, but yeah, he could. Well, I found out, yeah, when I look back at certain interviews now, being a fan, going back in the timelines and shit, going back to video, see, I can see where the name could fit and everything, but I just think, uh, obviously the greatest professional wrestling interviewer ever. I mean, you could talk about broadcaster. Yeah, basically he's up there broadcaster, whatever. There's a lot of names that come up like uh Gordon Soley, Jim Ross, um Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby the Brain Heenan. I guess if you want to put Tony Schiavone in there, I love Joey Styles. Oh my God! And he would do it in like different ways, like oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. No, that I love Joey Styles, and then Joel Gertner was funny with him too. But I'm talking about people that could get the people to talk like those interviews. Like think about it. This is the man that did that. That it's a lot of interviews that in professional wrestling history that he was a part of. Now, like, of course, he wasn't a part of the Austin 316 speech because he was in WCW at the time. But it's due to the fact when he was in the he was at the when Hogan turned NWO. You want to go there? He was there for when um shoot the cream of the crop by the Randy Savage promo. The think about all the great wrestlers, the greatest wrestlers ever lived. He's an interview, the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan. What you doing, Mean Gene, brother? You know that. Or Ric Flair, Mean Gene. You know, or um, Ricky. You know, he's the interview Ricky Steamboat. Um, of course, Andre the Giant, the Iron Sheik. Just a lot of people before my time and after my time and shit. He's done, yeah, and it's crazy because I didn't think the last time I ever was gonna see him again was that AJ Styles interview. That's crazy to me. Um, just it's so much I could go on right now, but pretty much, this is one of the greatest. This is the greatest professional, to me, in my opinion, the greatest professional wrestling interviewer that ever lived. I mean, I love Sean Mooney. I loved I mean, I'm a pro wrestling fan. I love pro wrestling and shit. I mean, it's some shit I never. Oh, what's my favorite interview he ever did? Everybody knows this one. Well, let me tell you something, Gene Oakland. Everybody here talking about a clique. The only clique you need to know about is the Harlem Heat and Sister Sherry. See, what we got here going on right here is the brotherhood. It's non-stop from this day forward. We take what we want. And when we take Lex Luger and the Giant, we want to come in for the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, they come for you, nigga. And then you just went on to Stevie Ray. I'm just looked at them, just went on, and then Sherry smiled. And that's crazy. That's the crazy thing. Majority of my childhood is dying on me, bruh. Like, that's crazy. Like it's crazy. When you look at WrestleMania 1 all the way to maybe go as far to WrestleMania 10, majority of everybody in them bitches is dead. That's just crazy. That's just crazy as a professional to know that. And New Jack, if you look at the New Jack interview, a lot of people can't stand me for this because I'm a New Jack fan. But if you really look through that Chris Benoit video and shit like that or whatever, well, he was going off went on the rant about Chris Benoit. He told the truth. That is true. A lot of people was averaging 3 days. Nah, I'm not saying. See, Gene Okerlund was different. You know what I'm saying? Gene Okerlund was different. I know I'm not. He wasn't actual, really a competitor. At least not that I know of. If anybody knows, just let me know and shit, and I'll look at it, and then I'll it's just I've never known him to be a competitor. So, but then again, there's a lot of competitors, a lot of people that didn't compete that's died in the professional wrestling world and shit, and it's crazy. And it's just like the crazy part is like the man that in all those like the voice of reason in every interview, no matter if they was a heel or if they was a face and shit, no matter what character it was and everything, the man who could handle any situation and shit like that. Just remember, this man had a 7'5" giant, 500-pound man named Andre the Giant put his whole face on his face and shit like that. I mean, uh, a this was a great man and shit like that. And I don't know, he just interviewed, I don't know, man. It's just like when I look at, every time I look at old wrestling videos and shit like that and I see his face, I get a calm when I watch Mean Gene Okerlund. I used to get a calm watching Mean Gene Okerlund. Like, um, because it was like, you knew you just watching vintage. Well, you watch Gene Okerlund, that's vintage wrestling and shit. That's when wrestling, most people love wrestling and shit like that. When you watch, like, if you talk about the old school days and shit like that, Gene Okerlund was that calm. You know what I'm saying? And then, and at the same time, it was some personalities he had to deal with, working with on a daily basis as far as like interviewing and shit. Cause he probably never, I mean, 9 times out of 10, it was. No, actually, that's when it wasn't even scripted. That's the problem with wrestling, man. To me nowadays, shit is just too like scripted. Like, it's like at least back in the day when we all knew it was fake and shit. It was I mean, even when you didn't know it was fake. Okay, I take that back. It was a time I didn't know it was fake until I got to a certain age and shit. But that was the time I watched it, and when you compare that now to then and shit like that, I mean, it wasn't that much boxing as much as you see now and shit like that. It was boxing then and shit like that. And I mean, boxing has always been a part of professional wrestling, but when you look at it now, like it's not the same, you know. So when you look at Mean Gene, like, okay, compare the promos now. Like, you got Renee Young, you got whoever else, you know, and that's the problem, you know. So that's on me and shit like that, because I know the people when I see them. It's just that's the thing about professional wrestling. See, Mean Gene Okerlund, you knew him and Bobby the Brain Heenan was great on television and shit. Was great. That was just great chemistry that they had. But see, Bobby the Brain Heenan was just great with anybody. Just because him and Gorilla Monsoon is still one of my it's still 1A, 1B between him and Jerry the King Lawler as Jay and Jim Ross as far as like greatest broadcasting teams I've ever seen or could listen to. Will you stop? You know, shit like that. But um, when you go to Jim, when you see Gene Okerlund, you knew some shit was about to go down. Something was important was going to happen. Every time you knew something was important to happen, or when he had the most. When you listen to him talk, he had a very distinct voice and shit. You know that's mean Gene Okerlund and shit. So it's like, as a wrestling fan, yeah, I'm hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to lie to you. I know I got video on this channel. I got nothing but hip hop videos of me acting silly and shit. But as a wrestling fan and shit, yeah, and it's crazy because I can go on for days on who I really miss. And I might just end up doing that because, because there's so many wrestlers that I grew up to. And it's crazy, like I said, think about all the wrestlers who's done died since between WrestleMania 1 and WrestleMania 10. Think about it. Let's see. Let me go down the list. Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, Junkyard Dog, Special Delivery Jones, Jim the Ever Neidhart. I'm not going in no particular order. Mr. Perfect, Big Boss Man, Ravishing Rick Rude. Let's see. Let me see. Macho Man Randy Savage. I think Adrian. Is Adrian? Shit. Jimmy Superfly, Jimmy Snooker, Roddy Piper, Dusty Rhodes, shit. Some of them I'm surprised are still alive. The Ultimate Warrior, shit, Dino Bravo, Hercules, shit. If you want to be technical, shit, I think he was shit. Ellen Gante, which is now or was Johnny Gonzalez, Doink the Clown, Crush, Brian Adams, shit, who else? Miss Elizabeth, Sensational Sherry, Fabulous Moolah, May. Okay, well, that's later on, but May Young, she can put her in there. Bad News Brown. Yeah, the list goes on. The great wrestlers. Who else? I'm trying to think. Somebody else that died during that period, from '85 to at least '94 alone. Shit. British Bulldogs, both of them. Um, um, shit, it's a lot of wrestling. Um, Freddie Blassie and Bruno. Well, Bruno wasn't no wrestler, but he passed, so he's um shit. Who else? That's another one. Shit, if you could think of anybody else and shit that I've named and shit, if you can name anybody else, just put them in the comments and I agree with you. Just thank you for letting me know. But R.I.P. Gene Okerlund, man. He was a you are the voice of professional wrestling to me. All right.